everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, and with me again, I have the pleasure of Retro Nerd Girl being here. How are you, my dear?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great, and always glad doing these episode breakdowns with uh with you for the
Thank you.
Mandalorian. So for
Same
folks who
here.
don't know, um how would I want to say we watch the episode and break it down so you don't have to? I guess is what I guess is what it is. We kind of scrub through the episode, break it down, reassemble it, analyze it, and just basically talk about it and our insights and observations about the show. So
Mhm.
this episode is called Guns for Hire, and last episode where we left us off with kind of a mystery, didn't it, Retro Nerd Girl?
Yes, yes. We found a ship that was supposed to be taking Moff Gideon to trials, and it was in kind of left without him in it, and a lot of dead um, people inside, and it looks like he escaped. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
broke them out, and where they had Beskar armor wedged into the hull of the ship. Is it
Mm-hmm.
was it the hull?
Yeah.
And which is very another, it's a kind of a detail that's like how do they get that piece in there in the
Yeah.
hull? Like what was strong enough to get a piece
Yeah.
of Beskar in the hull? So we're really curious as to find out like
Yeah.
who did it, and is it a setup or what happened? What really happened?
Yeah. They left us with a CSI crime scene
Hmm.
in
Yes,
Star
in
Wars.
space. Yes.
In
Uh,
space, yeah. So we need to find out what happened. So again, this episode is called Guns for Hire. So we starts out I thought this was a little, I thought this was weird yet interesting at the
mm-hmm.
same time.
Yeah.
Poor little goldfish dropped it in the tank, and I guess
Out of
she
a
had a.
martini glass, by the way.
Yes, no
I'm
doubt.
like,
I
I'm like,
I don't
what?
know.
Isn't that an Earth thing? A martini glass?
Yes.
And the goldfish was it was I was like
It,
they couldn't be more like creative with the goldfish. I hate to tear this apart like this, but that was just I just
I,
noticed it.
I agree with you. You couldn't get like a beta fish or something that looked more exotic in a way. It just looked like your ordinary, you know, goldfish, or just
Yeah,
CGI something that, that looked weird, or
exactly, like
some
some kind
kind of
of
creature.
alien like crab creature would have been really cool. Or
Mhm.
yeah, it was that was kind of, but I thought it was cool, like the whole special effect of the captain of the ship submerged in water, and then
Yeah.
she sits down
Mhm.
and removes the water.
Yeah.
Um, I thought she would be dripping with water, but I guess it dries her off as well. So that Star Wars technology.
That was one powerful powerful vacuum, I guess. I guess it's like the Dyson hand dryer. At least that kind of would have made sense. It was a cool effect. The
Yes.
execution was a little bumpy, but
Yeah,
they gave us something different. So I'm like, okay, I can kind
I
of
love that.
I was like, I can rock with that. So it was just interesting. And then you find out, now correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it Sasha Banks?
Yes, that's Sasha Banks.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
It was good seeing her again.
yeah. She hardly said anything, but yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
how do you just have a character like that just stand around? I don't know.
That's what I don't I don't understand. I would have thought that she would have, said something. I would have expected her actually to be in the chair, but nah, that's just that's just me. But
Yeah.
apparently, these are now, as Bo Katan had said, they're basically, mercenaries
Mhm.
for hire, which, granted, I did not read the Mandalorian novels, but some are bounty hunters and some are mercenaries, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. Whatever pays.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever
know what
stat
they're
that
storing up all this
Beskar.
money for, though. I'm trying to. Is it for the Beskar, you think? Uh,
It could be, or stash of Beskar,
okay.
or whatever. Because if I remember at this period of time, of course, Imperial credits, they're worth something, but not as much. I guess you kind of think of it as like Confederate
Mhm.
money. Then you had New Republic credits, which people didn't have that much faith in. And then, of course, you have Beskar, which is, I believe, kind of like hard currency, like
Mhm.
gold. So I guess that's why they want that. And of course, if they get it and they, pile it up, I would believe Beskar is not traceable,
Mm.
um, in a way. So they'll probably have their war chest built up for whatever it is
Yeah.
that they plan on doing. And apparently, somebody hired them to go and get their son back, who
Yeah.
apparently is in this clandestine relationship with this captain. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hire mercenaries for anything, but to go fetch your wayward kid, I don't know.
Yeah, I believe it was. I'm not sure if it was it was episode if it was season 2 or if it was season 1, but the the rogue there's a um I believe was it season 1? It was a rogue prince that Din denied the job to, or he was supposed to do it, or what? Grief offered the job and showed the rogue.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And he
and
was just
he,
like, nah, I'm interested in that.
yeah. So this is that rogue prince. Yeah. So there is a tie-in, but which is
Oh,
good. We like tie-ins.
okay.
We like tie-ins,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it
Look like Mon
happened
Calamari's
such
wayward
a long
son.
time ago. You just don't. I mean, how are we supposed to remember?
No, I would not have understood. I would not have recalled that at at all. But apparently, I guess it's that Romeo and Juliet kind of thing
Hmm.
going on, which is funny for comic relief, but eh, I don't know.
I
It's
Yeah, for me, this was a moment that could have been one line of
mm,
dialogue. We didn't need this in particular because w- unless and this is unless they plan on bringing this whole story back in season 4, right? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
season 4. If they get the chance to do season 4.
Yeah, if they do get one
Yeah,
to do
and
it.
yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where maybe this means something, maybe it means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But we had just set up this important situation with with Mandalorians possibly being implicated in a crime that could have the entire like an entire fleet of like people coming after them from the New Republic. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was cute, it was visually interesting, it was entertaining to a certain degree, but it didn't have any weight on the story except to tell us that the Mandalorians that used to follow Bo-Katan are now mercenaries, or whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
to call them, and that could have been generally said in a line of dialogue.
exactly. Either one line or, who's that? Oh yeah, that wayward prince they told us to go get. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good job. Next. There's no, it's like we're not, and maybe I'm nitpicking, and I probably am, but that's okay. Coming off of that episode from last week, if this would have led into, you know, we had somebody tell us that, they found that shuttle, something
Yeah.
that dovetailed into what we care about.
Yes.
This seemed to spend a lot of time on something that we didn't care about. We're like, what happened? What went down on the ship? Where's Moff Gideon? I That's what we want to know, but instead we have to, watch these two species try snogging each other before they even fade away. I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't
I don't mind
care.
it, but if you're gonna tell me about the story of, Romeo and Juliet from, the Squids, uh, do so in a different story, not in this one where we've got a goal for Bo-Katan to unite the people and
Mhm.
take over Mandalore, and we've got possible Imperials after them. We still don't know who has blown up Bo-Katan's ancestral home. There's so many questions still yet to be answered. Where is Gideon? Is he
Mhm.
working with the Empire? Is he working with Mandalorians, or is he, planning something against Din? Is he planning something against? Like, we need to know answers pertinent to the tension that you've got going on here. We don't need this. This is cute, but we don't need it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's what is angering for a lot of people who have watched the show, is that they don't mind this, they just don't want it here. At this point, in episode 6, when we should be getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Mhm. Exactly. It's like you're focusing, it's like keep the focus on the stuff that we care about. So if you're going to drop stuff in here like this, it's an obvious segue into the stuff that we are interested in. And I think with the writing on this, they forget that particular thread. Why are why are we watching? You need to get back into the things that we care about to keep us watching. You want to take a segue, that's fine, but don't spend, like, I think this was what, 10 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
I think in the beginning, where
It
are
was
we
it
now?
was way too long, way too
Way too
long. They
long for
had,
what
like,
it
a
is.
deep dialogue. "You know, you don't really love me." Was that what all it was to me? It's like,
Yeah,
"What? I d
is
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
all that
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
to you? Was just a fling? I'm just like, "Why do we care about this? Why do I it's not like it's a character we know,
yeah."
and we don't care. We don't really care about that. But yeah, I was just like, this takes way too long. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
what are we watching next? Well, little did I know where this is gonna end up. So apparently they go to this other planet, which we haven't been to. It's kind of nice seeing something that's not Tatooine.
Yes, or Coruscant.
Yes, or Coruscant, exactly. It was kind of like this weird flat water kind of planet, and guide on the assigned path. Weren't they I want to say got intercepted by the New Republic, right? I think as
Oh,
I can't remember who they were getting contacted by. I almost said hailed, but that's
it
Star
was from
Trek.
so this is planet, Plazia 15, and they were being hailed from the planet's, main computer, to land, and they were going to they took control over the vehicle, which I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
You can do
that
that
freaked
now?"
me out. Like,
I was
"Oh, we're
like,
gonna
"Oh,
commandeer your
snap."
vehicle."
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I thought that was very strange. I had never seen that
Yeah.
in
And
Star Wars before.
it would have really been cool if, like, this was like, um if this went into like Horrorville, where it was like, "Oh yeah, we have control, and now we got you," and
Mhm.
it would have been like a battle to get out of this situation. Um, but it isn't. Everybody's been comparing this to Epcot Center,
Um,
and
yes,
it looks just like it. And also, Logan's Run as well,
that one too, and a
especially
little
since
bit of, what was that? And a little bit of Total Recall.
yeah, yep, Total Recall.
I
And,
don't know, for some reason, they seem to be ripping off a lot of Total Recall
oh,
this
yeah,
season.
they ripped out, well, I would a lot, let's say they were inspired by many different by
Yes,
there
I guess
was
this was their homage
homage
to
to a
Logan's Run.
lot of different, uh, stories, including Blade Runner. Was there another one that I found? Let me see if I wrote it down somewhere. Um,
I know
I
I
had
had
6
s
pages of information I wrote down.
wow.
Because I was just
This is
like, "What?"
why I have her on this review, man.
It was no, it's just too crazy. I had to write it down. I Robot is another one that
Oh,
they kind of have some influences on in this, like, particular segment that I thought was really cool. I mean, I like, as an idea, I like this. I
mhm.
I like all of it. Um, my problem with this all of this is the placement it has in the season. Uh, should it at this point in the season? Well, yeah, in this point of the season, we need to be attacking the big picture stuff. We still don't have a real main bad guy. Like, who is it? Is it Moff Gideon, or who is it? Like, we still don't have a main bad guy. We still don't have and a lot of answers to questions
Mhm.
that we should have. And I have like 27 questions that have you still have.
And I
Yeah.
thought I was bad with my questions from the book of Boba Fett. I literally had a notebook. I'm like, I have 2 pages of questions that I have about this darn show because it's funny because it bothered me to the point where I had to stop and I'm writing all this stuff down that doesn't, that I have questions about. So
Oh
I
yeah.
totally get
Oh yeah.
where you're coming from with this. I'm looking, I'm just
Yeah.
like, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
This does not look like the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Yes.
Or maybe we're finding out more about who's behind the scene of the crime. I don't know.
That's
Maybe they're
what
going
I thought.
undercover. I don't know.
That's what I thought, and this would have been a perfect place to insert that kind of enemy. But they don't do it, and it's like it's really frustrating because I thought we were watching a show. I
Yeah,
I thought we were watching.
I thought we were, and they're just kind of strolling. Okay, oh, here, let me scan my bracelet. Okay, let me scan my bracelet. Okay, let's go into the park now. I,
Now here's my question, and it really happens a little bit before this. My question is, why is Din on this mission with her? She is supposed to be the one to go wrangle all of the other
Mhm.
Mandalorians. Why is Din here?
That is
Like,
an excellent question.
and why is Grogu with him? Like,
That's another excellent question. Why didn't he dump him off with the armorer? Because there's so much that he needs to learn. He should be there trying with his little hammer or whatever.
Yes.
hanging out with the armorer, learning about Mandalorian, lore, getting his butt. Well, he's using the force, so that's not going to happen. He should be learning. That's
Yeah.
where he should be. So
Yeah.
this looks like family day out,
Yeah. They're going to Disneyland, right?
complete with scanning the bracelet, and I'm kind of just like, why
Yes.
would you do that? And they don't know you. I said I don't really. I
It's
was like, I don't get
very,
that.
this is the perplexing piece of this whole thing, that I'm just like, why is he there? And why are they together? I don't
Yeah,
understand why they're stuck together like glue now.
it's sad because this is supposed to be the Mandalorian, and it's like the Mandalorian and Friends.
Yeah. And which, I mean, look, I don't even mind that, but if somebody explain it to me. If they are
Yeah,
in a
that's
relation, like if they're in a relationship, I can see why he would be right there. If they love each other, yeah, fine.
mm-hmm,
Or if they're like, if she's like, you owe me because I saved your life twice, I'll be like,
mm-hmm.
yes, okay, he has to go. And even to have a conversation like, I can't leave Grogu here. He may be in danger still. I want him with me. That kind of talk. It took us. That was not even a minute for me to say that. It could have been just put inside the darn show. Please tell me something, please. Don't leave me in the dark about what the characters are doing.
You're
And so
exactly
that
right.
that's where I'm really the most frustrated with a lot of this. Because I'm
Mm-hmm,
looking at so much potential. Visually, it's stunning. The ideas are really great. But it just seems to like not really be uh, uh, they're just not figuring out how to tell the story. They're just like, okay, and next they're gonna go. It's like an outline of things happening,
mm-hmm.
but not the actual like process of telling the story to get there. Um, uh,
Exactly. Even just you know, I don't need you to go with me. Well, I don't care. I'm going with you anyway.
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Uh, do I need a reason? They're like, yeah. Okay, well, such and such and so and so.
yeah.
Okay,
You saved my
give
life
us
twice, and I want to
e-
return the favor.
exactly.
Yeah,
Even if it's I don't want you here, but since you decide you're gonna come along with me, make yourself useful or something like that. Some kind of dialogue that lets us know what's the context for for
for any
this.
of this, and like what are we watching right now? Um, yeah, this is on like Logan's Run, because Logan's Run had everything in tubes and
With the
stuff.
tubes,
I
yeah,
loved it. I love it. I love this, and it is borrowing from it, but it's definitely updated, and
yeah.
yeah,
It
I do
doesn't
like
look
it.
like little tin things going through plastic
I
tubes.
love those. I love those miniatures. Oh my god. I really want that for myself. That would be so cool. A little miniature set of Logan's Run. Um, okay, so we get here and it's like, I hope you like libations or sebaceous. It's like, what the heck?
Okay, so I was
I hope you
watching,
like
right?
sebaceous. Ooh.
I'm just like, what? I mean, I'm watching this. He's like, join us. I'm like, who? And then I'm like, is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, everybody looks like they're extremely pimped out here.
Yeah.
Like,
I
okay,
like this.
this is
I
the
like this a
party.
lot.
I like the colors. I
Mhm.
did. I said, I
Yeah.
like the colors. I'm like, oh, is this kind of like on Star Trek Rise of the Pleasure Planet? Where this is just where people go to, do whatever. And it's, that kind of campy fun, but there's some kind of seedy underbelly, going on. Maybe this is where the
Yeah.
mercs go to have a good time. I mean, something
Yeah.
that links what we saw in the previous episode with
Mhm.
this one.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see Jack Black and Lizzo.
Yeah, me either. It reminds me of Lost in Paradise. Where you can have fun, fun, fun.
Yes. Yes. Join us.
It's a huge wink to the audience. A huge. It's a joke. It's. I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing at this part of the story. And we're talking about people's lives are at stake. The we got
Yes.
possible, like Mandalorians possibly being hunted to answer for rescuing or getting Moff Gideon off of his trial. Like, what is going on here? Why can't we focus?
I, I don't know if it's literally, this is going to sound crazy, but I've seen crazier things happen in Hollywood. Like, okay, so you know that episode you got, right? Hear me out. Okay, so that episode of She-Hulk, they got Megan Thee Stallion, right? You should get Lizzo.
Yeah.
And you know what? Since got Tim Meadows, guess what? Try to see if you can get Jack Black. Try to get him in this picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
all
We'll
of
put
these
them in
guys are huge fans of Star Wars, and of course they're going to do it without even thinking about the backlash.
there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, or their careers or anything like, oh, you want me to do this dumb thing? Fine. And like I said again with Tim about Tim Meadows for the last episode, here,
Mm-hmm.
if these guys were aliens, it would be so much better because you wouldn't
So much.
yeah, you wouldn't associate what we're looking at with real life. Like, I'm looking at Lizzo's nails, and I'm like, I didn't know you could get a manicure in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I never saw. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with painted nails on. Uh,
No.
and so it's like, okay, well, this is really weird to to have this kind of um a callback. And one part he's singing, and from one of the nerds online, hi guys, uh, they found that they found out that he was singing one of the songs from from one of our Earth songs. And it's like, I I'm like, you can't interject Earth stuff in Star Wars. That's
No.
taking us right out of the fantasy, you know?
It's
Um,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's kind of like when I
oh
think
no.
about in Revenge of the Sith,
Mm.
when they go to the opera house in that seedy area of Coruscant. And the vocalizations that you hear, they do not sound Earth-like at all. It's kind of like humanoid voice synthesized. Even what you saw wasn't like a solid form or whatever it was performing. That's something that's just so different. You can't picture anything like that in our time
Yeah,
at all. You don't associate it with Earth. So I was like, how come they couldn't do something similar, you know, to that? It's
yeah,
We have so much sci-fi that's out there that they could have done something
yeah.
different to make it seem like, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. But it's like they went for the Earth thing. They didn't, try to make them aliens, or even if they made them humanoids, make them unrecognizable
Exactly,
to
like,
us.
a snout or like horns, or give them face paint, something to change up what we're looking at.
Mhm.
So that way we're not like, oh, I can clearly see, Jack Black, going,
Mhm.
and then she's like, oh, and it's like, and I like these guys. I like the performance, but not for this. Like for me, this was a bad, a bad placement in a position where we're like really desperate. These guys need to find the other Mandalorians to
Yeah.
unite their culture and
Right.
take back their planet. Why? Ooh, Sebastians.
Oh, he's so cute. Come over here. And he goes, pew, and lands right in her lap. And she's like, feet. I'm just like, I
and
can't. I
and that's the
can't.
last we see of Grogu. He's like forever at her hip now, and it's like,
Yeah.
why did you have him in this episode to be cute? Well, I know why they had him in this episode because
Hmm.
yeah, well, for later. Well, yeah, I
I,
know why they go for later.
I just, I'm
Yeah,
like, I can't believe what I'm watching.
yeah.
What I'm
I
watching with this.
I had fun with it. I laughed and enjoyed myself though. I really did. It was hilarious because I'm like, this is ridiculously, like, this should not be in this part of the story.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. But yeah, it's like I laughed. I was horrified and laughed, horrified again and laughed, especially when I saw Grogu do his little triple flip and land right in her lap, like, yep, feed me. And without a second thought, oh, yeah, it's my body, so cute. He's over here with me. But it's when I see like these celebrity inserts, it's I don't know, I wanna say, and I know I'm probably spending too much time on this than I need to. It's kind of like with the Sharknado movies. I love them because they
Ooh,
were
me too.
so over the top and
Yeah,
nuts, but
yeah.
by, like, the 3rd one, there were so many cameos
Oh, yeah.
from
Everybody wanted to
people.
be in that thing.
Everybody wanted to be in it, and it's kind of just like I mean, David Hasselhoff, that made sense, okay, that I had no problem with that whatsoever, but it just seemed to be so many people wanted in on it till it kind of it's like
It
it sucked the specialness,
Yeah, I mean,
um, out
the
of
the
it.
story got lost, and it was, even though the story has always been like crazy, it got lost, and then it was just like, okay, who's next? Who's coming?
Yeah,
Who's showing up next?
mhm.
Uh, but the
Who
fifth
you gonna bet?
Sharknado was really good. That was my favorite one.
The 3rd one was my favorite one,
Oh
especially
yeah,
since they filmed it at Universal, that's why that's why
and
I freaking
and
loved it.
and I think the fourth one was in England, right? Was it
I
in
think
England?
so. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, oof, I love
I
that. I
think
love that
so.
series. I
I
do.
did too. I did too. I said, whenever you think somebody has a dumb idea, remember somebody said, hey, let's make a movie about a tornado made of sharks.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Uh,
Hmm. But yeah, here's Grogu. He's like, oh,
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
happy.
it's
I'm
adorable.
happy. It is. It's adorable and it's cute. And I do like this floating thing behind her. I want that.
Yes,
I make
it
no
was
bones
nice.
about it. I want that.
Yeah.
Where can I get that? I need one for myself. But it was just I don't know. First, they finally get down to business, like, okay, they want to speak to these, privateers that supposedly
Yep.
work for them. And it's just like, okay, well, before you do that, I got to send you on a little errand
Yeah.
for you to help us out with. And apparently, I guess as a little bit of a callback to one of the Terminator movies, apparently their droids are rising up against them. I'm sorry, I
Mhm.
had to show this. I freaking love this back here.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. I thought that was really cute, and I don't know. It was, well. I like that. That's all good.
I
That's all
did
good.
like that. I said
Yeah.
I'll give them points for that particular costume design. I actually did like that. But apparently the droids are starting to turned against them in a
Mhm.
in a in a way.
Yep.
Malfunctioning. You got I guess they sent the Imperial droids to rehab.
Yeah.
So now they're all, oh,
Yeah, I love
they're
that part, yes.
it's like you use battle Imperial battle droids. No, they're rehabilitated, reprogrammed. They're perfect now. I mean, I did like that part from Jack Black. Like oh yeah, nothing, worry about it. We got it under control. They're changed now.
Yeah. And it's really kind of I thought this was really interesting how with him he was used to work with the Empire. He was
Mm-hmm.
in the amnesty program, and so after being with her, he's actually transformed this entire place into sort of a utopia for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all on the backs of the robots that they reprogrammed to work for them. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of iRobot in that sense, because iRobot had that kind of like
Hmm.
robot uprising. Um, and I thought they were gonna go in that direction a little. And they were like, nah, 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 it's too much. I was like, oh, I know it's juicy. We're just gonna hold back. It's like every time they're about to go somewhere good, they pull back. And
Yeah.
it it's frustrating because it's like, why can't we just get good stuff?
I mean, I thought I was gonna see robots murking people left,
Oh
left and
wow,
right,
it was
like
yeah,
just or maybe not that graphic. I've watched Terminator too much, but at least you start seeing robots behaving definitely in opposition to what you thought. And given the type of, I'll call it, discrimination against droids, because
yes.
I mean, especially given what happened, when
In A New Hope, was
God,
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when they
Because
say
remember the
that
New
we
Hope
should
when
yeah.
he tries to go into the bar and he's like, "We don't serve their kind here." You're just like, "Why is it? Why y'all so hating on droids?
Yeah,
Droids are great." But then you get into a further scene in here. I won't spoil it just yet. When we get there, we're kind of talks to that. But I just thought that we were going to get to see a bit more malevolence and less laughs
yes.
when it came to
Um,
finding out.
yeah, because I mean, it just that scene alone in that throne room being it could have had the air of like, we're trying to keep this, like if they had broke character and became more serious at this point and said,
Hmm.
okay, let's be real, this is all a put on for those guys so they don't get suspicious, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
had I would have been like, oh, so that's why they're acting like pompous jerks,
Hmm.
they're like, that makes
Don't
sense.
want to spook the courtiers,
Yeah.
but we're in deep crap right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. You're doing a better job right now. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they
Lord,
like,
don't let them rewrite this. And we're just like, oh, shoot. Weren't we just talking about?
and so like it's really it's got good bones. It just isn't like somebody's. It's not follow. We're not getting a follow through for for any of the character development. I can't take any of these people seriously. Can't take these two people seriously.
No. And it really took me out of the experience with these two. But a
Yeah.
third guest, I'll just skip ahead. We're gonna have to a
Yes.
third get now. Christopher Lloyd, his character fit.
Yeah.
So didn't I really didn't have the reaction to him that I did with seeing Jack Black and Lizzo, and probably because his character, it sounded like Doc Brown, but it wasn't Doc Brown. He
Yeah.
was like that efficient, head of security, like, I got to do this, I got to do this, by the book, whatever. What do you mean we have a problem? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he seemed like he felt like a real character and not a put on or a show. He wasn't putting on a character. And
Mhm.
so it felt more natural coming from him.
Mhm.
Even though
Agreed.
you like seeing him, I really didn't have any I was happy to see him, and then it was like, "Oh, okay, let's get back into the story. What is he saying?" Like, and he didn't have, like he wasn't playing it over the top, except for, like, the very end of his, scene in the thing. He was a little bit over the top, but, uh, in one part, but he was pretty fine here, just explaining,
Mhm.
what was going on, showing them, tapes of stuff, um, and being so very open about the what was going on. Um,
Right.
and I thought that was writing wise. I thought that that was a good way to do it. I thought they did it right with his character right then.
Mhm.
And this is the scary part with the that robot with all
Oh,
the
the
knives
Benihana?
and,
Space Benihana? Okay, yeah, again, I'm gonna bring this up because you brought it up too as well. It's too reminiscent of life on Earth, so to speak.
Mhm.
Because as soon as you saw the guy with like the robot with all the all the knives and everything, I'm thinking this is Benihana. It's
Yeah,
not like there were these different pods and that he's in a kitchen environment or just something different. Just it looks too much like Benihana.
yeah. It looks like it could be definitely just part of our world. Like we could just go to this bar right now. Um, and I think it's hard to like think of a bar is going to be a bar, right? I think
Hmm.
I've like all over the world. I think all bars usually end up looking exactly the same. A bar is a
Yeah,
bar,
there's some
you know?
place where everybody's gonna go to have their libation of choice, especially the seedier the place is,
Yeah.
the better. And
Yeah.
we've seen them in Star Wars, but it's like, but this here, it's
That is definitely, it feels like an Asian um bar where you can get something chopped up for you.
this looks
And
like Tep and Edo at Epcot.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's
There's
a
a place
restaurant.
that they actually modeled this after.
Yes, there is
This
a
is
place
just
like
a
this.
sales this is a commercial for their
You know what? Oh my gosh, we're giving them stuff. You bet. If they don't have this on the Galactic Star Cruiser, they're probably gonna have it on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah, this is a commercial for their upcoming stuff, which is fine. I don't care, but yeah, yeah, it does look a little too like much. And one thing in particular this scene is that you get this robot with all the knives and then they turn
Mhm.
away and you hear all the screams. And I suppose we're supposed to um, get the idea that he probably delimbed a couple of people or
Mm,
hurt somebody in the process with those things.
yeah, because this is Disney Plus, and we're not gonna see,
It would
like
have been,
severed arms with blood
yeah.
spurting out,
It would have been
in a
so
bar
cool if he
fight
had just gotten like a blood splatter right on.
on the camera.
Yes.
Yikes! See, this is why y'all
Oh
need us to
man.
write this stuff, because yeah, because like you wouldn't even have to show that's like, oh yeah, and then there's this scene from a restaurant. Oh shoot, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of bad. That's kind of yeah, it's kind of bad. And the simple question, why not turn them all off? Well,
Yeah.
our society would collapse. And
Yeah.
in a way, I thought this was interesting. it wasn't iRobot, but I know I have they've talked about this or shown this in several sci-fi films. What happens when you have a society where you depend less on humans and more on what robots
Hmm.
can do for you?
Yeah, they did. It was iRobot where they had
Okay.
everybody, all these slave robots doing things for like almost every single thing, and they were upgrading them to these new version of robots, and all the new version of robots turned evil because the main computer was planning on destroying all. I don't know what she was planning on doing, but she was going to maintain control of the human race. And
Mm,
so yeah, it was really it is very scary. If it is, if we are to give up that much control um to computers, like um how, when would we be able to say, okay, that's enough, we can take it from here? Or when do you stop it from taking doing things you may not want it to do,
mhm.
so it's an intriguing question, but why
Yeah.
are we asking that question in the middle of a season where we just got the keys to the car and we want to drive off in it? It was like we just got Bo-Katan's just got the order, like, find other Mandalorians, and we're
Mhm.
we're we're talking about AI, and we're talking about robots, and possible uprising for these people, like, okay. I get it, and I get it that it's a task, and I would probably, and I think too, after watching this, you know, I I thought, well, this would be great if this was episode 2, or if this was episode 1, or if this was
I would
episode
agree with
3,
that.
or if we had 12 episodes in total. This would be fine. I'd be
Mhm.
like, oh, well, this is another, we're going to get to the real stuff soon.
Yeah.
Um, but with just only 2 episodes um, uh, left, I'm really, really concerned that we're going to get the kind of ending that we really deserve to close out the story. And I
Mhm.
wonder, was this enough story to begin with?
And that's a very good question, and it's something that I saw also happen in season 2
Mhm.
with, like, that part near the middle where I was just like, "Okay, you know what? I think I'm just gonna drop out of this," because you're not sticking to the main story, which is what the Mandalorian is supposed to be doing and about, not these side quests that usually will fit in the middle of an episode. I mean, excuse me, the middle of a season, like
Yeah,
sandwiched between two intense episodes, because you kind of need that,
a little
that
breather.
breather to like
Yeah.
reset before you ratchet back up the tension again. So it's like this episode is out of place, especially coming on the heels of, again, a CSI ending to the
Yes.
last episode. Where's the clues?
Yeah.
There's nothing that ties back that we're
And
going on this wild goose chase right now.
yeah. And they could have easily added it into the scene, which is really sad. Oh, the Ugnaughts. I love this part.
I did like the Ugnaughts, and
Yeah.
I was just like, how do they know who Quirrell is, and why
I
would
was
they even listen to you? Okay, all right, I'm not alone in that. Okay,
Yes, I was like, how do they know who he is? And are they aware that he died? Like, do
yeah.
they even care? Like, do they care? They didn't ask. I was like, oh my goodness, this is weird.
Nobody said Quirrell, who the heck is Quirrell? Or even if they did, yeah, I know that dude, da da da, whatever. It
How's he
was
doing?
just, yeah. How's he doing? He's dead. Oh, all right. Well, we'll pour one out for Quirrell. But yeah, that just seemed really freaking weird. Like, you're just gonna take this dude's word for it
Yeah.
just because he can speak your language, so to speak. I just thought that seemed a little too convenient. I thought they were gonna throw stuff at him or something.
But I did like the fact that this was a time where Bo was really, I'm sorry, Din was really showing his experience. He was showing his experience, and he was
Mhm.
showing that his his skills as as a Mandalorian, and all of his experiences led up to this moment. Like we get it. We're like, okay, Din is, being Din again. We want to see Din succeed in the story, and there's no reason why both characters can have their moment.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, it was great for. I was like, yes, Din is the one to get this, this one.
Exactly, and I like that. I really did like that because that callback back to the first season, because that whole relationship between him and
Oh
Coral
yeah,
was, I really like that. And,
yeah.
what was it? Was it Gary Busey?
Yes,
I
yeah.
think
Oh,
I
oh,
need
was it Gary Busey, or was it
was it or was it oh man, why do I keep getting Gary Busey and Nick
oh
Nolte
no, it
mixed up? That is
was
common known to
Nick
happen.
Nolte, yeah.
Nick Nolte, okay, I
Yes,
didn't know
yes.
that was Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Me
that
either.
that was him
Yeah, he did such a great
until
job.
the credits,
Yeah,
and that's, like, how you do, a guest appearance, so I like that, so it was good getting that call back to Quirrell, 'cause that was sad how he went out. That was really sad.
yeah,
So to have
very.
Din shine kind of like that, have that, that callback, I was like, "Okay, okay, I like that part."
Yeah, it was nice. And uh, he's just his
He's like,
face
"Oh,
is so
no
hilarious.
about this dude."
His face. Oh man. Yeah, it was. I did enjoy these guys a lot. It
Agreed.
it, it wasn't a lot, but it was just enough. But here's the thing: while he was with them, I was hoping he was gonna say, "Hey, do you have that part for the IGs?"
'Cause if anybody would know outside of the Jawas, Ugnaughts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a perfect chance. By the way, do you have? Like I said, no, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Give me a minute. I'll find. I think I have one.
And a
And it's
great
like,
tie into the first episode, 'cause we
yeah,
haven't heard
yeah,
anything about
yeah,
IG-88.
yeah.
I mean, excuse me, IG-11, excuse me.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a storyline that has been forgotten, and if they plan on bringing it back, fine. But you had an opportunity right there to kind of pursue it
Mhm.
and see if these guys would have a part like that.
Exactly, and if they didn't have it, they would know who
Where to find it?
you need to go
Yeah.
and find it.
And that would probably be a nice other, like, side quest. That's why this season should have been like a 12 episode, but I feel too, I mean, if they could just figure out how not to waste people's time. Um, 'Cause
Agreed.
that's the problem. A lot of this feels like waste, I know that they're giving a lot of world building
Mhm.
information, telling us a little bit more about, what other worlds would be doing with this, discarded Imperial, um, stuff, robots and ships.
Mhm.
That's great, but I really wanna know about what we were talking about last episode.
Exactly.
Moff Gideon is out there. He is ferocious. We've got to find him soon, or or deal with him as a story. We can't
Mhm.
let that go unless they want to drag this out for many seasons where people are looking for Moff Gideon and oh
It's
boy.
kind of like with that, and man, I'm drawing a blank on it, which is a reason I probably do not. do not want to remember. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That episode with Dr. Pershing.
Um,
Um, I hated that episode. If they would have intercut that as a B story, that would have been fine because you get to build, the mystery up as as you go along,
yeah,
and that would have worked. But it's like this: we're kind of sitting around, we're talking, we're forgetting that, yes, like you were saying, Retro Nerd Girl, Moff Gideon is out there. How cool would it have been to see flashbacks of, whoever it was
yeah,
trying to get him out? Okay, we'll make
oh,
it look like this.
yeah, yeah. A little bit more of the story, even if it's told from the enemy's point of view, and and
Yes,
and 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 help us to establish that there is an enemy because we
we don't have one in here. It's
you
just kind of
still don't have one.
out there, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, although I did like how they were talking about the skill of the Ugnaughts because they really are experts when it comes to putting droids together. I prefer them rather than that Babu Frick little dude.
oh,
I do not. I'm just a purist, but I'm like I prefer the Ugnaughts instead, probably because we've seen them in action so much, and
yeah,
especially with Coral in episode one, learning from him,
yes,
and
it was amazing.
yeah. So apparently they're saying that it's like no, there's no droids like that. You know,
Yeah,
droids don't just malfunction that way, especially given that they are the ones that they've been working on them. So
yeah,
they go roll out, find where those battle droids are. We'll put it this way: the repurposed battle
yeah.
droids. Yeah,
And this guy is like, They're okay. Just don't bother them. Don't do it." I'm
don't
like,
do that.
if they're fine, then why not?
Mm-hmm. Nothing should if I do this, they shouldn't do anything, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Right? Although I will say I felt nervous as probably we all should have been when he's doing that and he's
Oh
just,
yeah.
provoking it
Yeah.
to go back to the original program. And he finally gets one where it just freaks out and just starts.
Yeah. I love this whole chase scene. Uh I I do like this planet indoors. It's got like it's kind of like a Blade Runner feel, but a much brighter like
Yeah,
version, and
agreed.
like it's like a twist, a middle range between Blade Runner and Logan's Run a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this scene had a lot of really good energy, and they get him. They sure enough get
Oh
him.
yeah, they did. They most certainly did once they caught up to him. And I thought that was kitsy fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I want to call it like the Denis Villeneuve version of Blade Runner,
Oh yeah, yeah.
as opposed to like the Ridley Scott
Yes, yes, yes. Because yeah,
darker
it was very
version.
dark in
It's like
that one.
Cyberpunk 2077. I don't it was cool
Yeah,
to see that part. And of course the concept of droid. This is a crime scene. And okay, another thing
yeah.
that is too much like Earth. Why is there crime scene tape like this?
Yeah, Robot had something similar to this too. Um, it is, uh, I don't know what to say. Like, it's cute, but it's also not, we know that these guys can be really imaginative, and
Hmm.
this is one that isn't. This is one moment where it's like, okay, w we don't need we don't need this.
No, I would give them more credit if they basically said, "Okay, this is force field. You can't get into it. We're sanitizing the crime scene. You keep trying to get in there and it can't."
Yeah.
I would even I would even go for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's too reminiscent of like of Earth, and you're right. It's like we expect more imagination
Just a little.
when it
Yeah.
comes to Star Wars. This is phoning it in as far as I'm concerned. This doesn't
Just a little. I mean, it's
just
cute.
you know.
I mean, it's cute, but it's also like it could have been more creative.
You can make it holotape or something that just I mean, even if they would have made it a different color,
Yes, a
I would
different color. Why yellow? I mean, it's pretty much you didn't change anything.
no. No, it could have been, a different color and, writing that rotates in different languages or something that I mean, it can look like Earth because, there's stuff that you're going to refer to, but give it that sci-fi twist
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
otherworldly
I like the idea
twist.
of like a box that maybe like that was definitely like a holographic kind of thing
Mhm.
going up all the way up. Um, but it, yeah, it's I love look at that beautiful place. It's
I
gorgeous.
do like this.
Yeah, it's very pretty. And so yeah, they're like this. Okay, so they find talk about convenience. They find a a a card on the robot that is
Mhm.
of a droid bar, and I love the droid bar actually. But
I did too.
they find a card on like where on that robot were you able to find a card?
I
They
don't
I didn't
know.
know that
Ye
they could have personal belongings.
You know what? Here's what I think happened. I think the droid fell in just the right spot. You don't have to use a pin to eject the SIM card from your phone. That's probably what
Yeah.
happened.
Okay, and it just like
I don't wanna give them an out, but, it's if it was just as convenient to, "Oh, we have this card. Where was he hiding it all this time?"
Yeah.
That, shows up in the droid bar. Now, I did, like you, I did like this because,
Oh, I
you
thought it
know,
was so
the
cute. Yeah.
droids, you didn't see them in A New Hope. They weren't allowed to come in. They had to stay outside, but apparently this is their place where I guess they can all hang out and various droid libations and
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
did. I did like that they could socialize and just hang out with each other before having to go to work.
Hmm.
Uh,
Get that latest upload or
uh-huh.
whatever, and apparently, the guy who runs, well, the droid who runs the bar, says that there is fear within the droid community because of this. What's going on? Because they feel
Yeah,
like the their humanoids don't trust them, and that's not something uh, that they want to have happen.
yeah. They don't want to be replaced. Um, and I'm not even sure if I buy that whole storyline piece because and it's really interesting because Star Wars has always had these sentient robots um,
Hmm.
that seem to want to always help humans, and maybe that is something that's embedded in their programming or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's something that that they've never really they never really explain, and I don't think I need them to explain that to me. But this whole idea of being sentient and also like willing slavitude is kind of a weird dance. So I was like, okay, they just want to serve humans because we don't live long, and that's the little that they ask of us, or the little that not humans, but just the people on this planet.
Mhm.
So it was kind of an odd explanation as to why this droid community wanted to be, um, continue to be slaves, if you will,
Mhm.
um, and uh, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? It just was a little odd to me, but I mean, I didn't really spend a whole lot of time on it because it was like, okay, well, another side story.
Yeah, it was, I like the droid bar. It was kind of interesting, visually
Yes.
from putting that together. I didn't even know if it was really that, I don't even know if it was really that necessary in a way. I'm kind of thinking it's just like I think the story would have, well, let's see. Now that I'm thinking, it seemed to inject empathy when there really wasn't any that I felt was really needed. You have this quote unquote droid infiltration that was going on. So I didn't really see why having empathy
Yes.
for the droids was worth exploring. I mean, it'd be one thing if like say there's this, this again, I'm giving y'all stuff. Like in the beginning, there's this droid that probably rolled up on Bo Katan and Din Djarin and basically said, I've noticed X, Y, and Z happening, and I haven't said anything because I don't think that it's my place. And that protocol droid thinks I'm stupid, but I'm not stupid. I can see what's going on. Um, because I don't, whatever it is, for whatever reason, I don't want to be shut down or I don't want to
Yeah.
be replaced. Then that actually creates, some kind of attachment and reason for the story. This just kind of got dropped in the middle. And while it looked cool to see all the droids, like I love the ice blue R2
Oh,
unit over there.
yes, that's
I
one of
think
the
that's
nice
slick.
ones, yeah.
I like that. That's kind of slick. But it's kind of like it is just a little bit of waste of time.
Yeah,
Why are we in a droid bar? Is it like some place that the mercs were hanging out because they
yeah,
don't think they'd be found there?
yeah,
It just it I didn't feel it was necessary, and I kind of felt like it was filter. It was cool to see, but it still kind of felt like filler.
yeah. I think so too. It felt like filler, possibly, and again, it is some world building in a way,
Mhm.
showing us
True.
about robots and robots in this universe, but
Mhm.
it's also um like we're not gonna deal with robots this season. Where
How long did we really need to spend on this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about like the beginning of the season and we're talking about,
Mhm.
robots, that's a whole nother story for another, like a whole show. You could do like a whole season all about the robot uprising and trying to like, come to some sort of conclusion of that. But I
Mhm.
think here it's like, it's just shoved in brutally, and then oh, the story's done. Okay, it's like, oh, are we supposed to care about these robots and their feelings, or
Mhm.
are we, is it just there to fill time for your 40-minute show? It just was not. Um, I love that depth, but I really wanted that depth for something else maybe, but not this. We still have the other story plots we need to deal with, and we're dealing with this. This is huge. This is the
Mhm.
implications of this is huge. Like robots uprising, or the treatment of robots in this galaxy. Big, big, big subject matter. And we just touch on it for, you know
Mhm.
to I don't know why, but we just touch on it for the heck of it.
I think so. I almost would have liked for, hey, what does this car do? And open it up and there's a bunch of droids that are like, Okay, wrong place. Never mind.
Ooh, I like it. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, what the okay. Because you already know looking like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be here. And at least that it's like you could get to see it. It's good comic relief, gives you a little bit of insight, but you don't stay on it. It's like, okay, next it's like next scene, where are
Now,
we
here's the thing.
going?
They didn't need to go to this bar. And I'll tell you why. All they had to do was go to the morgue, and that's where they find all the answers. They didn't need to go to the bar. That was just visual popcorn. That was not actual substance. That was not the steak dinner we wanted, you know. And it's really, we found out about the what is it called,
N-
nefente, that
I keep wanting to
Fente,
call
I
it
think it's called,
nanobots.
at the lab. We didn't need to go, the bar barely had any information about it. She actually took a sample of the oil that was in the droid,
Mm-hmm.
and pulled him out of a morgue slab, like CSI, or
Yep. Roll them out.
and and then analyzed it. It was like, I then I think, did she put it in like one of those tube spinners?
Yes.
And I was like,
Again,
that's another
another
Earth thing.
centrifuge. Why does it need a centrifuge? Why could drop the thing in there? Okay, all right. I don't understand. I don't understand why, if she pulled him out on the slab, should have had some heads up display scanning that crap. And then whatever these things are, the Nepenthe or whatever, just start
Just,
coming out and everything. How freaking
yeah,
creepy
and
would
we
that
can
have
see it
been?
on screens. We don't
Yeah.
need to like do this garbage. I mean, this is it's almost like they took an episode of like CSI or one of those things and just copied it. And they actually make a reference to CSI. And if you keep going, I'll show you,
Okay.
if it shows up. Oh
Guess
no,
that's
okay,
a
so
spectrometer.
okay, so yeah, that ball of laser beams
Mm-hmm.
attacking them is a direct reference to Logan's Run. Because in Logan's Run, there's a laser beam thing that goes haywire, and just
That's right.
cuts up the entire room. And another thing about this scene, Din jumps out of nowhere with the dark saber and slices that thing in half. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
he's using the saber properly. He doesn't have any trouble with the saber at that point.
That's interesting, considering it seems like whenever he's trying to use the dark saber, it seems like the dark saber is using him instead. It's just
Yeah,
like, I don't want to do any clunky, with trying to use the dark saber. So that is interesting.
that was very interesting. I
It's
was
like it's
like,
something to
hmm,
do. Well, I was gonna say maybe because other people are in danger, but that happened too on Mandalorian. He just could not get that
mm,
darn saber to work right.
yeah. So,
That is
okay.
nuts.
So here they're doing the thing when what's his name? Commander Hellgate, or is that right? Commander Hellgate. When his picture comes up, there's some writing on in the language. And some,
Hmm.
of course, the wonderful nerds online. Hi guys. they,
Thank
they,
you.
yes, they decoded it, and it says something like, this doesn't mean anything. Um, and they reference CSI, the show. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because this does look like a CSI screen
Yeah.
when they. Okay.
Yeah.
I love CSI, but daggone it, do something different.
CSI in space. I mean, if you're gonna do that, I'm like, yes, but that should be in a longer series where you have more time to chew on the scenery. You have more time for characters to BS. You have more action you can insert in there.
Mhm.
This is not the time for us to troll the audience and leave these like little clues. I don't like clues does not make a good story.
No,
Or what they call Easter eggs. Easter eggs does not make a good story.
absolutely, I agree. Man, that looks like Grissom. I'm just saying, it looks like Grissom from CSI for the heads up screen. But you're right about the Easter eggs. Like, say, for example, in season 3 of Star Trek Picard, because you don't need to watch those previous two, there are Easter eggs that they've put like in the end credits.
Mm.
Um, but they all tie in to the show
Oh, cool.
eventually. So you didn't quite understand what it was at the beginning, like say with the first episode when they were showing the end credits, but the more they go into the season, the more those end credits made sense.
Oh,
So it was like
okay.
we knew something was going on. So they weren't there just to look cool. I mean, they did look cool, but there were direct references to things that did happen,
Yeah,
in the show. This was I don't know. This is just kind of just there.
yeah,
And it's you have to do more than just drop Easter eggs. It needs to excuse me, it needs to fit with the episodes. Again, Picard did the same thing with some Easter eggs that they dropped. And it made sense
mhm.
because they dropped the Easter egg and then they wound up using it later on. So it
Well,
wasn't
that's
just
good.
there, just to be there. And we come back to this guy, Commissioner.
Yeah.
We have some. I keep thinking he was going to say droids. Where we're going, we don't need droids. For some reason, that was like stuck in my head. But this guy, apparently, he's the one who,
Yeah,
I guess,
he's
used
the
the Nepenthe or whatever it was to have the droids
reprogram those.
attacked.
Yeah. And I did like the fact that his character in the beginning was seemingly cooperating with the space Mandalorian cops, you know?
Hmm.
And it was a nice throw what can I say? Like it threw you off his trail.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah.
and so and there was no indication that he was making like weird faces or side glances, so it was a nice little surprise. And also it really this whole scene is just wrapped up like a bow, you know.
Hmm.
The part that I really thought was they had missed another opportunity to somehow attach um him to or the story here to Moff Gideon in some way. And it would have felt more meaningful to have
Right.
all of the things that we just watched.
Hmm.
And so the more this particular story continues on, the more meaningless all that stuff feels. Um and so yeah, it was really uh
It was very Scooby Doo.
yes, yes, it was. It felt Scooby-Doo. And it was like a bit of, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
And I did like the banter between Din and Bo. And it again, it comes too late for my liking, but it was
Hmm.
um it's on a quality the quality is great. It's the writing and the positioning of everything, just in
Mhm.
a odd spot um, in the story that really hurts it in a big way.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's such a shame.
This scene right here, a lot of people are not happy with this scene right here. I thought it was cool, but I mean, it's
I liked it. I liked it for what it was.
yeah,
It was outrageous. It was, over the top. Of course, Baby Yoda is gonna help the Duchess win because she gave him food. Of course, is how how that's gonna work.
yeah,
Um, yeah, by this point I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I didn't really have too much of an issue with it. It was cute.
yeah.
It was a diversion. I really didn't. This didn't really bother. This scene did not bother me. Um didn't nearly bother me as much as, let's see, what was it? Like 35, 40 minutes of
Yeah.
trying to figure out the rise of the machines
Yes. And then,
and
like, it's like, "It's gone, don't have to worry about it." It was just the the janitor did it or something like
yeah.
that, you know what I mean? And, this to me, I feel like, okay, for this world itself, it's, it's very interesting. Oh, I just wanted to point out that these guards are using recycling the stormtrooper, armor in this
Oh,
in yeah, isn't that cool? I like that.
yeah.
I do like that. There's some good in there. Um, but one thing I have to say about this scene in particular is that this guy here was about to sick all of those battle droids on the people to kill them.
Mhm.
Okay, so the danger that they're in is so intense, but it's like, ah, it's just played for like fun and games. I'm just like, where is the tension?
Mhm.
And I almost wish that he had pressed the button and some of them got out, and Mandalorians, these guys were able to subdue them somehow before it became a situation, just to give it a little bit more tension. Like, you guys could have died. And that's just where I stand with this whole part here. It's like,
Mhm.
as far as there being any tension in this entire section, it's just not there.
And I would have to agree with you, and that's kind of like why, I mean, I was kind of joking, but it's actually kind of true. Showing like that robot at a restaurant and then people screaming, then you see blood spattered across, across the lens
Yeah,
to actually show the stakes. What if there were, these robots who like were holding people hostage and
yeah,
literally about to kill them unless they found out what it was that was causing them to turn on people. But you're
yeah,
right, there's no sense of urgency, there's no tension, there's no conflict to be resolved or want to resolve.
yeah,
And that part is missing. And this is supposed to be an action series. Action series, you don't get a break. You get a little bit of a break, but there's always something going on, something popping off, somebody being, double crossed. It's a shame. It's I almost want to say, and actually I will say that with Disney Plus, they're too busy trying to play it safe
yeah, all the way, all the
with
way.
this. If you want to do this as some kind of drama series, stick with Andor. Okay. Do that. But with this, with The Mandalorian, you've got to give us more
Something.
action. You
Yeah,
have to show us, the stakes. I mean, the trailer for the first episode, you had stormtrooper helmets on spikes. What does that tell you? You know, we thought we were
Yeah,
gonna get something dark, something gritty, um, and we get this.
yeah. Ooh.
Yes, and just say, "Oh, it's okay," and I'm so disappointed. How could you do that to us? No, there needed to be some bodies hitting the floor in this
Yes,
thing, and
I
it
mean,
didn't happen.
at least somebody in bandages or something like, "Oh, I got cut by the crazy robots," and
Mhm,
and maybe even some people saying, "Look, we have to figure out how to create our world where we're, part we have a lot of robot help, but we also do some of the stuff our own selves, like to come to some solution that
mhm,
means that the world will be better off." And we have none of that here. It's such a patch job to this particular problem. And how many other people are like this, Commissioner
mhm.
Hellgate, that are separatists, and or
Yes.
who want to see things in a different light. Also, it would have been, and maybe they can work this in the future. I still think that I forgot his name, but Jack Black's character in here may still be a bad guy.
Mhm,
Playing his role to the T, and then behind closed doors. And it would have even been a little bit interesting if we had like a little tip off of that, like he's being all sweet, and then on the side he drops his smile, and he's like,
mhm,
you know, he's giving that Elias look, that Elia look that she gave, like,
mhm,
and it would have given us like, oh snap, these guys are in trouble,
mhm,
maybe we'll see them again. There's no tension. Where's the tension? Where is it? And that's the problem with this episode so far into the season. Um, did I enjoy it? Oh my God, yeah, I did. I had fun with it. I loved a lot of it, but I feel that is the true missing piece.
absolutely.
And
And of
then
course, after oh Lord, Grogu's a
this is
knight
why, yeah,
now.
yeah, this is why Grogu was here, because he had to be a
Yeah,
Jedi Knight.
had to knight him. I
Yeah.
was just like, please don't swat him. I just because he's so, he's so little. Of course, they had to have the cuteness going on, and it was kind of cute.
Aw.
It was kind of cute.
Oh,
So
and when he's saying goodbye, he's like, ah, so it's
um,
cute.
that was cute. That was cute.
Oh.
I know some of y'all think that, Grogu was the devil, but he is cute. You cannot deny he is
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, boy.
this part,
Mm.
um, this part, I did not like
Oh man, I
this
was
particular part. Um,
I was I was pissed at the end of this. I was pissed. I'm looking at things a little bit different now, but initially I was pissed.
I'll let you go for it. Go for it. She goes and they find the you're the man I came here to find.
Oh man. Well, I did enjoy this fight, but between Bo-Katan and Axe Wolves.
Mhm.
Why they're fighting, I don't understand, because all you have to say is I've been hanging out with these people, and the lady said that we should bring Mandalorians together. Mandalore is, in a different state now. We can actually go there. And I'm sure
Mhm.
they would have been like, okay, maybe we want to join you, maybe we don't. She didn't talk about any of that stuff. It was like, I want my fleet back, you know, and this fight happened, and of course she won.
Mhm. Of
Um,
course.
yeah, and then this guy is like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. We're not going to follow you because you let that guy over there hold the dark saber, and the you know I don't know.
Yeah, you won't even take the dark saber
Yeah,
from him.
yeah. And so he said, "Well, you know what? Din says, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. She can have it."
And that's when I
And
threw up my hands because I thought
oh
I was
man,
going to get to see those two fight. Because, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm
yes.
wrong, the dark saber has to be won through combat.
Hmm.
So I was ready. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm waiting for. We've been waiting for this fight for the longest time. And it's just basically, yeah, I kind of got into some trouble, and Bo Katan had to save me, and when I couldn't save myself, so she is deserving of the dark saber.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna give it to her. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
yeah. And I have a couple of things to say about this in particular. Um, One is, how long did he know that she saved him and kept on to that sword, knowing it was hers? Or is he so dumb he just came up with it? Because I'm like, really, Din, this guy who got out of so many intricate situations in the first season like a boss,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
using like mental skills. I'm like, my God, he is amazing. And now
Mm-hmm.
he's too dumb to realize something until there's a crowd of people, and they're about to like beat the crap out of both of them. And he's like, okay, well, she can have it. uh that there's that. And really, it wouldn't have been much for them to say, like, right after he was saved from the robot creature and he
Mm-hmm.
grabbed that sword from the ground and looked at it before putting it in his holster, he should have said, well, you know what, technically this belongs to you now, and given it to her.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been more realistic. And I think everybody on the internet was even saying, like, technically it does belong to her because he did screw up, and got caught up, and she saved him. And
Mm-hmm.
and and that would have worked because he would have been smart enough to come up with that conclusion on his own in the beginning, and there she would have the sword. Uh and there's that. And then the second piece to this that really pissed me off was, why show us Din training with the sword if you're gonna just give it to somebody else anyway?
Exactly.
Like, you wasted my time showing me him training for this thing. And he's just like, oh yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, you have it. I can't do anything with it. Like, it's just
I'm not
it's
worthy.
like, when I saw him give the sword away, I'm just like, why are we doing this?
I don't understand it. And it made me just like you. It pissed me off.
Yeah.
I would have much rather. I mean, I like the stuff that you're saying. It's just like I'm just me. I'm like I would have much liked to see them basically have a knockdown, drag out fight.
Well, what I was thinking was, it would have been so cool if they would have strode up there, and she would have looked at him and said, "You know what? I am so sorry, but I have to challenge you for the sword right now."
Yes.
And it would have been like, ooh, this is what we knew was going to happen.
Mhm.
And it would have, of course, been shocking to him. Now, I will just tell you that, probably Grogu was going to choke her out.
Oh, yeah, you know that. Nobody's touching my daddy. We know we can do it. We've seen him do it.
Yes, he would have choked her out. But still, I thought I was like, that would have been a very I mean, your blood would have been racing. Like if she said that, like, oh snap, she's savage. Uh, you know, it, that is the Mandalorian way. That is the way. They are warriors. And he would have understood why, but it may have been shocking to him as well as a character that here he's following her everywhere, and
Mhm.
only for her to say, "Thanks for following me. Now I'm gonna kick your butt."
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight you because this cannot stand. You got something that belongs to me, and I
Yeah,
need to get it back from you
right now.
properly.
Yes.
It's just like how cool of a juxtaposition would that be? And for folks who
Yeah.
think that we're kind of making this stuff up, if you haven't seen John Wick 4, and you should by now, um, you saw from the beginning the person tapped to hunt down John Wick was none other than one of his best friends.
That's where the tension comes from. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
get the tension, you get the weird stuff. I mean, look, Luke had to fight his own father.
Yep. Exactly.
That's
Good
where
point.
you need that gut wrenching punch to kind of get you like, oh my God, she is so savage. She really deserves this thing after that, because she's willing to fight, this guy who's been, at her side for the last, couple of days. And it's just like, it's so lame. I called it anticlimactic. And that's about the
Yeah.
nicest way you could say it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like handing over your soul. This weapon really was supposed to be something that Din was to master as a
Yes.
character, right? He had to learn how to wield that sword, and by giving it to her like this, really just was like,
What was it all for?
yeah, it felt like a waste of time. And especially since in the last scene we saw him with it, he used it like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, okay, I guess he's getting the hang of that dark saber. Nope.
Nope. I think we'll let you have it. Oh,
And what's the icing on the cake is the way the other Mandalorians were like, I guess so. I was like, what a kind of this is really I'm gonna, for my own sanity, I'm gonna pretend I'm just gonna pretend
it's a
it's
fever
okay.
dream. It's a
Yeah,
fever dream. Yeah.
it's okay. It's
Fever
okay.
dream.
Um, in my mind, they had a knockdown, drag out fight, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of it, uh, Din, just threw the fight and let her win.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's happened in my mind. I
He
mean,
through the fight, he got a payoff in
yeah, just because
Bo-Katan
he
now has the dark saber, and now, yes, let's go and unite Mandalore.
and see if they had made this like a love story, and I don't mean to like harp on it, or something where emotions were
I
involved, like,
agree.
or a deeper friendship, like a friendship, this would have been so powerful to see him make that sacrifice to give it to her, because
Mhm.
even if he gave it to her just by giving it to her like that, there would be more reason, like, oh, he's in love, they're in love, or they really have built this incredible friendship. They've
Mhm.
only spent 2 days together, maybe.
Yeah, he's in a friend zone. and
Yes,
this does not work
absolutely.
when one of them is in the friend zone. It's just like,
Ah,
not interested,
yeah, yeah.
not interested.
Very sad about the way this ended, and but
Yeah.
I'm happy for Bo that she has the sword. She it looks good on her. I did love the way Din wield that sword, though. You know, when he finally did have
Mhm.
his moment with it, and
Right.
it's just it is what it is, and hopefully whatever they decide that they're going to do with this series,
Mhm.
that they're gonna actually add in some tension, because this after this scene, I was really angry because I was like, all of this episode really felt like filler, because you could have gotten the part where they came towards the planet and
Mhm.
this scene and put them together, and just erase like all of that stuff with Lizzo and Jack Black and even Christopher Lloyd, and just go right to this point, and it wouldn't
Mhm.
have skipped a beat.
Do you think that, and we talked about filler. Do you think that maybe this would have worked better that instead of 6 episodes, there were 4?
Um, yeah, no, that was fine. Like, to cut out some of the minutia and just tell
Mhm.
the story of the
Yes.
Mandalorian. I would look, if you just told the story of the Mandalorians in a 2-hour miniseries, or 3-hour miniseries, that would be a banger. 1 hour each. And just the
Mhm.
story of Din and this whole thing with the Mandalorians, forget about all the other side stories. It would, I bet somebody would probably edit out edit something together, because they somebody always is looking to edit these things down, but that's what's really the most important part of the story is the whole thing with the Mandalorian.
Mhm.
And it really is, if you really want to know, it's maybe 2 episodes. We push it at 4. We push it at 4. And that would be to add more scenes with Din having conversations with
Mhm.
either either Bo-Katan or the armor, or just speaking, because he's hardly doing any of that. He's We're hardly able to understand where his mental state is,
Mhm.
you know,
It's almost like the Mandalorian is not Din Djarin. The Mandalorian is Bo-Katan.
which I don't mind if it is, because there are a lot of stories that going around that even
Mhm.
the Mandalorian could be Grogu, but it's a character like Din should be given the honor of feeling fleshed out and
Agree.
not forgotten. It was on his shoulders and his back that we fell in love with the series to begin with. It was his adventures that we loved and we
Mhm.
adored. So if you're going to phase him out, that's fine, but give him a character. This is not a character. This is just a shell of what we used to remember. And
Mhm.
we have no idea why and when he came up with the idea that he should give the Bo the saber. Why is he there? Why is he there? Who gave him the instruction that he needs to go with her? And
Mhm.
if so, where are the other are there other Mandalorians? Did he volunteer himself? That conversation's not ours. Like, we don't know like why he's there.
It's like they're missing the narrative that we need to see when it comes to The Mandalorian, or we'll say when it comes to Din Djarin, and it seems like with season 1, it was laser focused on just Din
Oh, it's
Djarin and
great.
what he had to do and what his charge was. And then it seems like with season 2 was basically to set up for other spin-offs. Of course, we got, the Book of Boba Fett, You got Kenobi, and of course Ashoka is coming on later on this year. And then with 3, it's just like it's no longer the narrative about Din Djarin and his adventures and the Mandalorian from his point of view. Now there's all these other side things, going
Yeah,
on. Is the New Republic, does that need to be such a huge part of the story? Is it much larger than it needs to be?
I think so. I mean,
It seems that way. Every time I
it
see the New Republic, I'm like, why do we care? I mean, it was cool
yeah.
when he got stopped by an X-wing,
Mhm,
okay, that
mhm.
that made sense. And he was like,
Yeah.
see ya, I'm kind of gone. Uh, that was funny.
Yes, it was.
That was funny. But now it's just,
It's building up to stories for other shows and other
hmm
seasons, and that's fine. But you don't forget about the time that we need with the core story, and these
absolutely.
episodes have been so short, so there is room and time to put in these extra scenes of
hmm
like Moff Gideon getting rescued or whatever he's planning, and
hmm
we need to spend some time with the bad guy a little bit. We need to spend time with Din talking about about anything. I mean, we don't know what his goals are, what he's planning on doing. Okay, now that she has where's he going? Is he going to follow them? Is he going to hang out with these guys, or what? Like we have no um
Agreed.
trajectory for him, no plan for him,
hmm
and we should at least know what he's going to do at so late in the season. It just really is frustrating to be a fan, and
hmm
I think a lot of people are giving this. They're really really upset to the point of uh, declaring never to watch any more of the show. There were some people who were really, really pissed off at the center portion, and I
hmm
was too. I was really mad at it. Even though I had fun while I was watching it, when I got to this point, I was like, "What? Well, what was all that for?"
hmm
And it just really grated on me. And as the further I get away from the moment of seeing this, the more I'm able to like process it a little bit better and like, okay, it's not the end of the world, the next two episodes are there. We can make some more finite decisions
hmm
about how bad things are when those are done. And for what it was worth, while I was watching the episode, I did have fun with it. And
hmm
so yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I have a love-hate relationship with this episode. It's not exactly easy uh to
hmm
say it was wonderful, and not to say that it was definitely a big problem for me, because I had moments where it was just it got a visceral response from me. Um
Oh, yeah. I think, when I s when this scene started to happen near the end, I was just really irritated. I was just like, "Not no." And it's a shame. So, we got 2 more episodes left. I don't know how they're gonna pull this out, so to speak. They could wind up pulling this all out at the last minute. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll we'll have to find out. So Retro Nerd
Yeah.
Girl, if you had to give this a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I this is probably my lowest score, but I'm gonna give it a 6. And that's pretty low for me.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I mean, I gave it at least a 5 for doing amazing job on like some
mhm,
of the presentation, all that stuff. A 6 really met up with that as far as, I think some
mhm,
of the direction was okay. I just had a big problem with the story. The story is where it's always been a problem, and the positioning of this episode was the I would say secondary climax
Mhm.
piece for me that was just like this doesn't belong here. Um, and then
Right.
the ending really sealed the deal.
We're on the same level because I gave it a 6
Wow.
too, and I felt like that was really generous
Yeah.
to give it a 6. Not happy with the fact that, well, aside from what we talked about, we still don't know what the deal is with Moff Gideon
Yeah.
escaping. That
Oh,
was like something that they left and didn't get back on track with us, about, which is like ridiculous. I was like, is there an ending scene that we didn't see? But even so, why is it at the end?
yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, folks, we got 2 more episodes left of this season. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this particular episode. Are you just like, okay, I'm out, or is it like, okay, they better pull this thing out? Let us know what your thoughts
Yeah. And
are. So, oh, go ahead, my dear.
one last thing, I just wanted to mention that the viewership has gone down 25% for the show as well, and that's scary because I hope that doesn't mean
Very.
that we won't. I hope we get a season 4 because I do want to see more
Mhm.
closure to some of these open-ended pieces. But honestly, I can't blame anybody from walking away from this because it's too it's not as focused as it used to be.
No,
Yeah.
no. Go back and watch season 1,
Oh,
and
it's
you'll
amazing.
see exactly
I might
what
just do
what's
that.
going
Yeah.
on. You need that as like a palate cleanser, because 'cause I'm not watching Andor. Uh, folks, make sure that you are subscribed to Retro Nerd Girl. She has amazing, amazing retro commentary, watch parties, videos. Definitely check out her video on the Planet of the Apes. I'm
Oh,
telling you,
yes.
bless your life. You got to go check that out. As for me, please do go ahead and subscribe to me if you're so inclined. And of course, hit that like button, share the video, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.